check, mic check. All right. All right, let's get into this. Let's get into this. What do we want to talk about on Bitcoin? So we had a couple of we've had a couple of these occur here. These little ranges with the sweep of the low for another leg up. That is what I was ultimately hoping was going to actually happen with this larger range. That's what I was that same kind of concept I was hoping was going to happen with the larger range. We never got that. It's okay. It's fine. No big deal. I mean, it's not the preferred way. I don't like I don't like leaving this kind of stuff behind as we continue up getting close to the all-time high, right? I don't yeah, I don't like leaving those lows behind there. Yeah, currently yeah, I don't like it. But I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I am currently still looking for that. Yeah, I'm currently still looking for that. Either as I mean, like I said, just currently things could change. Either as a macro potential cycle top, or the development of a larger, more extended accumulation range. One of the two. And yeah, the stacking of these lows here don't make me. Well, they make me like this better. They make me like that better so far. But that's okay. We're not going to talk about that trade today because that's, well, not a today trade, right? Let's get back down to the 15. All right, so we have our sort of prior range here from this guy to this guy. And inside of that range, we have both an extreme point of demand left unmitigated, and we have the decisional point of demand left unmitigated, the old DP and EP. So yeah, the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to mark both of those out, and I'm just going to realize that we have had an initiation from this range. We lack a mitigation of this prior range from here to here. We lack a mitigation for a continuation still. So yeah, I'm gonna get these guys marked out for sure. This one is whatever. These coordinates here, I guess I lied. I should probably bring that down. We'll bring that down to here. So it's these coordinates here. Inside of inside of this one here, I'm also going to highlight this area. And that is those coordinates right there. Just the same way that you have the whole EP. I'm sorry, that's the DP. The DP of this range. You also have the DP DP, the decisional point of demand of this range. So I'm going to mark those out, and then I'm going to mark out the extreme point down here. And within the extreme point, I'm going to mark out the decisional point. Oh, sorry. Extreme point. Those two numbers there. Decisional point. These two numbers here. So those are going to be, yeah, those are currently areas that I would look for like a swing trade off of. And what do I mean? What I mean by swing trade is like maybe we come maybe we come up further before we come down to mitigate everything. Also possible that we don't come down to mitigate anything, right? But I'm just preparing for in the event that we do come down to mitigate something. Um, so yeah, like let's say we even come up a little bit more still, right? And then we come back down into this prior range. What I mean by swing trade is I'm going to be looking to these zones here to provide a higher high than the high that gets left behind in the event that we do come back to mitigate. Yeah, I would be looking to either of these zones to provide a higher high to trigger a lower high, I'm sorry, a higher low for a higher high, either out of the DP or out of the old EP here. one of the two of those. So those are a couple of zones I'm going to be interested in. Nothing that I think we'll be making use of today, but some zones that I'd be interested in nonetheless. Then we'll go take a look at kind of what we have up here and yeah, and just see what's up with that. I'm gonna drop down to the 5. And let's see here. So we lost a little bit of 5-minute structure here. We have not regained that. You know what I mean? Like it's still lower or equal highs and lower lows. You know what I mean? Like it has not reversed. It has not reversed. Where's the stupid path tool? Yeah, no matter how you even attempt to draw this, it really has not reversed. If anything, it has, well, whatever, we'll leave that there. If anything, it has cleaned off some prior highs, aka swept some liquidity on market open, I would imagine. Yeah, on market open, for a continued sort of march south post initiation. So I think a couple of things. I think it's pretty clear that if you break this high, that you're going to come for this high, and we're past the initiation sort of phase out of the prior range. So like maybe there's a short to be had at that high. There might even be a short to be had at that high. But we got to figure out, right? If you break this high, then I do suspect you're going to come for this high. Is that high going to break and continue north, or is it going to, just kind of start to develop a range of price in here? I don't know, but I can tell you I'm interested in the level. I'm interested. Currently I would more anticipate an SFP of this high than I would a break of it. Yeah, I would anticipate that more. I think that we need to either, establish another range in this area in which we, come down, maybe sort of yank that low and then come back up, very similar to what happened here, very similar to what happened here. Right? Like that's very much possible. And even if it does happen, I think it's still wise to watch this high, because of the lack of mitigation into this prior range here. So I think yeah, I mean, really and truly, when it comes to this local area of price, I'm gonna look and see if that'll fail. I'm gonna look and see if that'll fail. Those are two places of interest for me. And if this, say that low doesn't hold and it breaks, in that case, I would be looking for a retracement back up in for a lower high, lower low to come back down into some of these areas that we've got highlighted down here. And it is Wednesday, so there could still be some volatility left on the charts for the week. And yeah, this is just where I'm at with it locally here. Let me zoom back out. Let's go to the 4 hour. Let's make sure I didn't really miss anything over here. No, I think the last zone left was this zone here. I'm going to go ahead and include that top on it. Is that the same thing that I was looking at a while back on the daily? I'll just expand it to that. Yeah, I would say that's all. That's the only thing that we have left, which the coordinates are these. I would say that's the only thing that we really have left as a barrier to taking the all-time high. And this 4 hour strong low now has to move to here. And this one can just get generally deleted. I'm not going to need that anymore. And yeah, that's, I think, for the most part, all I can say about BTC here. I don't think I can really say much more about it. I believe I have covered it. And so now I'm going to look over to chat and say good morning to everybody, because I'm an asshole and I didn't do it earlier. Luke, what's up, buddy? Good to see you as always. Defiant. How's the bar looking? The bar's coming along really nice. We still have a lot of other interior remodeling to do, old carpet to replace, stuff like that. But the physical bar itself came out really nice. Looks really good. And do I cook food? Yeah, I mean, like I cook. I'll cook. I'll mess around. I'll mess around with that. Kulat, top of the morning. LJ, what exchange? I have traded on Femex the entire time, and I'm going to tell you, it's not like it was a particularly great reason. It was like way back in the day when Frankie Candles first opened his channel, and like he was shilling Femex, and I signed up on Femex. There was nothing more to it than that. And yeah, I don't know. It's really the only leverage exchange I've ever traded on. And yeah, we can check on ETH. That's no problem. Wicked out on my BTC long on MEXC. Bummer. Massey, top of the morning, and Graham Leach. Good morning. All right, we'll go take a peep at ETH, and of course, if you guys want to look at anything else, this is a good time to start throwing that into the chat box, so we can go do some TA on it. Let's see what we got on ETH. I mean, I look at this chart and I want to get frustrated because it never seems to ever respect my TA on it. But then I look at it and I go, well, clearly I missed something that is blatantly obvious. And so I can't really make too much excuses for it. I have no idea what that line is doing there. Oh, it was misplaced anyway. You instead of rolling off of, well, first of all, we never got anything to happen there on market open yesterday. It just rolled down. Next idea was, are we going to do the same thing that I pointed out on Bitcoin, which it did much better on Bitcoin, just kind of shallowed into that low, pulled the stop losses that were involved here that had been moved to here. I'm talking about Bitcoin, not ETH right now. That's what Bitcoin had done, but I just, like this is a very clear area of demand that meets every single one of my criterias, and I didn't mark it, and that's exactly where it bounced from. And okay, so let's get that sort of fixed and go, okay, fuck this up. And then we not only came for this high, but we smashed through it. We smashed the more external high there, and then we just ripped up from here. So first we got to look this direction and see if there's any resistance that I don't have marked out right now. I would say generally this price action looks fairly fragile, but I believe everybody has been patiently waiting for when ETH was going to start to show some signs of life again. And you know, I mean, we're definitely starting to show some signs of life again on ETH. Yeah, I I think it's a respectable place to put in a macro bottom. Um, yeah, I think it's a respectable place to do that. Now, is there anything over there to the left that can get us into this thing? We need something to kind of whack it on its head. I need a hammer. I can't draw a hammer. I need something to whack this thing on its head and pull it back down into its prior demand range. Ideally, that daily order block right there for a rip up. But you know, we'll see, because I'm not in love with anything I'm seeing over there to the left so far as something that could do. Ooh. Okay, okay. It's not the best. It's not the best, but I'm also not looking for the greatest supply that is going to provide a um, lower low, right? I'm not looking for something that's going to provide a lower low. I'm looking for something that's going to provide a higher low. And yeah, I would say that's fairly decent. This is where you put in your break here that took you from this high down to this low. First of all, let me mark this correctly. Template supply, bingo. So I would say that whole supply range was initially here, and you did mitigate into it, creating another 4-hour break for a fall. But this is the point, this is the portion of that had not been mitigated yet. And I would say that this area of price action right here, I would say a significant amount of supply did enter there. Let's zoom in so it's not so hard to yeah, explain or whatever. Yeah, like these like two candles right here with the top side wicks on them that then turned into a candle that shot down 7% and eventually trickled and bled down to you know, an 11% drop or so. Yeah, this supply entered the market right there. So can we find some resistance in this area? I would hope so. Like in a perfect world, I'm not going to look at this too much different than Bitcoin. I would just like to get back down into an area like this. I'm trying to do this. It should be faster. And specifically, let me steal this. This would be that daily order block right here, if I'm not mistaken. We'll go back to the daily chart. Yep, hurt too much there. Yeah, I mean this is the area in which I would very much like to long it from. I'd like to long it from an area like that. Of course, ETH never ever gives me what I want, which is why I don't ever fucking trade it. Or rarely. It's so rare when I trade it. Yeah, for at least up to here. That's kind of what I'd like to see there. That's my ideal zone. I'd be paying attention as soon as 1873. Let's get down to some smaller time frames and just take a look here, see what we got. Okay, we do have some unmitigated demand as a part of what I would call this initiation out of here. And it's not in this. All of this is pre-mitigated. All of that is, there's no support left in here. As far as I'm concerned, there's zero support left in there. You do have this area right here from 1915 to 1891, in which you had a break of structure from left to right. and you did indeed create an inefficiency out of it. So it is safe to say that demand clearly entered the market here, and this has not been mitigated yet. So I do think that that is another interesting area to look for. Um, ETH does like to do bastard moves, so maybe it never makes it back down into an area like this and simply comes off of an area like that. But what we are forming right now with, currently, let's put it this way, currently, if price were to just start coming down from here, this is going to be a weak high. And if you see anything flip on like your 10-minute structure, you are likely coming back to the week high. So the most interesting plates, I have no interest in shorting this. You may, I don't. In the event that I were to plan a short or even attempt to short, it would look a lot like this right here. I'd have this alert at 1952, and I'd have this alert at 1984. And if the top alert triggered, then I would move this alert to here, and I would continue to move this up until it formed a high, and I would just continue to follow this up, follow this up, follow this up, follow this up, as long as it continues to print this little kind of scrunched up sort of 5-minute structure like that. I would just move these every time my high got hit. Try and find where that next one is. Oh, hold on, let me start from down here. Right, like this comes up, hits the alert. I'd move this alert up to here, and then I'd move this one onto that high, and then it would come up and it would hit the alert. I'd move this bottom alert up to here, and I just put that up to that high, and then it comes up and it hits that alert, and I move this one up to here, and all I'm waiting for is the bottom alert to go off. Waiting for the bottom alert to go off. And then and only then would I look to involve myself in a short, and I would be really aggressive about taking profit on it. But so outside, yeah, that's the only logical way in which I could go about trying to plan short on ETH. Whoop-de-woo, there's supply here. But if you can't lose any structure, then you have no business shorting it, in my personal opinion. And even if you do lose structure, you're trading away from a weak high. So you're counter trend trading, and at any point in time, it could flip on you and come back for the weak high. So I don't love the idea of shorting. I would much rather be patient and wait for a long trade on it. And that, my good friends, is what I have to say about ETH. That is what I have to say about ETH. Donald needs to pump us. What's up? What's up, Alex? Welcome on in, and good to see you. Let's see here. CFX, something different. We'll do CFX for sure. And Alexandria G, Andrew, Joe Fiscaro. Basically, it's almost impossible to catch the initial move that breaks structure. Is the goal to try and get the retracement on most of the trades? That's, yes, we'll do CFX, but let's talk about this really quick. That's my goal. So for the most part, I only make two trades. I only make two types of trades. Either we have a range of price, and I'm looking to involve myself on, a purge of the, what happened there? And I'm looking to involve myself on the purge of a low or the purge of a high. Those are both trades I'm always interested in. And then the only other trade I take is after you see an initiation from a range, a mitigation back into it for a continuation. And so, hold on, hold please. Hold, please. Let's get another path tool on here. Let's say that this came up from here and broke from here and went from here and went to here. Yeah, for me, I only involve myself in areas like this for a rotation or this for a rotation, or after you have an initiation, I look to involve myself on a mitigation, initiation, mitigation. Those are the only points in charts that I look to involve myself. Outside of that, I typically just try and sit on my hands. So yes, hopefully that answers that question for you. Is that it's just a universally that is the way that I look at things. And CFX is what he says. CFX. Let's start out on the weekly chart. Okay. So the very first thing that hops to my mind on this chart is I'm going to long there. No, I'm just joking. Just joking. I could never pick the right drawing tool to save my life. The very first thing I see on the weekly chart is this, in which you had formed a weekly range and you'd filled the high of it. Now, I'm sure that was a long time ago, March 24. A little bit over the year ago, right? So you fail the high, placing weakness on the low. And then you ultimately achieve that target. So, went too far. So like the immediate vibe I get on this is it's one of two things, right? Dead asset, very possible. I know nothing about this other than I have some candles on TradingView. It's the only thing I know about this thing, right? This is all the information I have. So dead project, maybe, right? Or you have a manipulative event below your macro range. I always mark these with yellow, so bear with me. In which you may see a bullish expansion back into the range. So that's a potential, right? Like this is a potential. It could be a dead project though, but this is a potential. So for me, this is all hands off until we can resolve the current range and get back into the old range, right? So we have another range down here in which we have formed a low, we have formed a high, and we have swept the low. So this is the high that I'm waiting for it to break, 09717, in which if we can get an initiation here, two things have occurred. One, you've returned your weekly market structure to bullish, and two, you have re-entered the previous macro range. You've re-entered that range at that point, right? So for me, this is now we could try and make an attempt to come from here to here on a trade. We could see what that looks like. It's like not necessarily a particularly good idea because you're below here. In my opinion, like you could be looking at it again. You might know more about this than I do. This is just candlesticks to me, but this makes me go like, well, I don't know. I mean, like, is the project dead? Like it might be. This is the just because price is below here is the only reason I would prefer not to trade this at all until above 90 until we have been above 97.17. But it's okay. We're gonna go take a look at that range anyway and just see what we can find in there. All right, so this is our other range. Hold on, this is important information. What happened here? Okay, that's cool. That's cool as shit. This is very cool. That's very cool. This makes me much more excited. Yeah, that makes me much more excited. Me love this. Okay, so yeah, in that event then yeah, I would say Did we do it again here? Yeah, I kind of did it again here. Yeah, I think this is going to come for this. I really do think it's going to come for that. I think you have this concept that I was looking at on the weekly chart of a manipulation for a bullish expansion is like the concept of a power of three. And I think you could be looking at quite easily another power of three right here. In which you manipulate below this low for a expansion back up through here. No, I don't know. I just want to just make it green, bro. Just make it green, bro. Yeah, I like that. Because inside of this, we're still on the 4 hour. Inside of this is another range here. If you drop down to the 15-minute, I'm pretty sure we're gonna find ourselves another range there. Let's just double check that. Bum, bum, bum. And that was definitely the high. Let's see, that was the yeah. Yep. Yep. I would look at that like that, where you have manipulation above, manipulation below. Yeah, I would say all in all it looks pretty good. I mean the safer place to long this from is still a mitigation of this prior area here. So let's get down to that kind of stuff. Yeah, to me this is still, let's go ahead and mark from here to here. And let's flip that to the demand template. This is still the areas in which I would really prefer to trade this from. But you know, is there any oh yeah, we do have some resistance here. We do have some resistance here. Whatever. I mean, that definitely gets the point across, but that's not the way I like to do it. We do have a little bit of resistance here. I mean, like it's pretty clear that whoever involved themselves in the market here both created a break from left to right, created an inefficiency, and took price to a more relevant market structure point. And you know, I mean, if we measure it as a percentage, yeah, about a 5% drop. Well, I mean, if you want to count it all the way down to the low, you know, yeah, there's resistance there. There's resistance there. Now, it doesn't mean the resistance gonna work. It does not mean that at all. This thing may, you know, it's kind of doing this like pull down to spring up. I like that, and just generally speaking. But the really interesting places to me is to trade it here. And in about that region of price is the interesting place to trade it for me. With this inefficiency below you right here, you know, any trade in here could just fall apart, kind of BART out on you, do all kinds of things. Yeah, yeah. You know, I mean, I don't fully hate the idea of trading off of that low right there. But I think yeah, you know, because you can almost approach that as like, okay, I'm coming from here to here, and if it works, great. Yeah, I do not like all I'm trying to say is I don't like the idea of looking at it this way. Even though I could see the potential of it breaking up from here, I don't like this idea. This lacks protection, in my opinion. Yeah, I don't like that. No, I don't. I like areas down here far, far better. You know, we're getting closer to the weekend. Market may lose a little bit of steam, and we may sort of start to trickle down into areas like that, just globally across a lot of different charts. But yeah, that's where I'm at in it. This is the only thing I could justify a move on, outside of just waiting for something more juicy. And I think shorting is just the wrong idea right now, on probably anything. Um, yeah, I just don't think it's a good idea. I think Bitcoin is coming for that all-time high, and the rising tide brings up all ships. So, yeah, there's my CFX for you. I don't know if I got more handsome. See, I don't even have my glasses on, so I'm like squinting at the chart and shit. I don't think, but thanks, buddy. Let's PO3 on the weekly. Yeah, could be a PO3 on the weekly, bro. Could be a PO3 on the weekly. Yeah, price action is a little bit of booty cheeks. A little bit of booty cheeks. XCN. Let's do some XCN. Mostly limit orders then. I'm very particular with limit orders. Um, I'm trying to get better about using them. Traditionally, I really didn't do limit orders, which is that is not good advice. Don't take that as a good thing. Um, but I'm trying to get better about it. So I don't have much I can do there. Let's see when we in Vegas, I need you to judge my spinning round kick. Oh, bro, I got you on that. We'll polish that up so hard. We'll polish that spinning kick up so hard. It's one of my favorite kicks. So, yeah, we'll definitely polish that up. Um, nope, not XRP, XCN, XCN. Yeah, I give you like two simple things to focus on for a spinning kick that will get you pointed in the right direction for sure. Okay, so I remember looking at this. And maybe this is the same person that asked for it the last time. Maybe it was always Binksy134 that was interested in XCN. My general issues with this chart was, it just reeks of price manipulation, and it still does. But we have purged in a very relevant low on the chart, and we are starting to flip structure bullishly. So, um, let's even though it smells like a lot of manipulation going on here, nonetheless, um, it gets what's the best way I can say this? Manipulation is done by institutional investors. And Smart Money Concepts is all about trading with institutional investors and not against institutional investors. So even though it is manipulative, it's being manipulated by them, and the concepts I use are really kind of designed to trade with them. So let's see if we can manipulate, get into the action with the old manipulators on this. Let's see. I'm going to drop to the 4. All right. So kind of a little bit of a similar concept here, where you look like you're losing this range and entering into a fair value gap, right? And but instead, what you do inside this box that I'm attempting to make yellow but clicking all the wrong buttons for is you return your 4-hour market structure to bullish here. This is where you return your 4-hour market structure back to the bull. Back to the bull. Let's get that line on there. And let's just extend it over so that we can highlight the fact that it did indeed get returned for mitigation upon. So you flip your 4-hour market structure to bullish after purging these lows down here. That is a generally good look. Price throughout this action here does not look like institutional traders. It just looks like something's like forcing it to go down. It's all pre-mitigated, no confident positions in really either direction. All that is to say, I don't see resistance here. No, I don't see resistance here. Now, again, it is a manipulative asset, so it doesn't have to have clear resistance there for them to rip and pull it on your face. But for the most part, I would say support and resistance has been, fairly respectful on this chart. Where did this range low come in? It came in off of a 4-hour order block. Are we on the 4-hour? Yes, we are. It came in off of a 4-hour order block. Where did this high come in? It came in off of a 4-hour order block. So, I mean, it's moderately respectful. The current problem with planning a long trade right now for me is you are at the premium of this local 4-hour range. You're at the premium of premiums of it. You can't get more premium than you are right now. So I need to see initiation from here, and then we can plot for mitigation and continuation, or this may fail and pull that low. Right, both of those could be very possible right now. We need clearance here, which again, you may see that clearance happen today, but I am not trading from here to here no matter what, even if it does happen, because there is no protection. It's just not my kind of trade. This is in a far too premium setting from here to here for me to entertain a long. But let's drop down to the 15 and see what else we got in here. I can tell you one thing, I would be far more interested in a short if you lose this low, because these already touch. You're struggling to clear this guy. So I would be far more interested in a short if we lose this low currently. And the general fact that none of these lows will have been taken, let's pretend that we do initiate. Let's pretend that we do initiate here. In the event that we make a little pop scaroni out of here, I'm only going to be able to look to this area for a continuation up out of, because this down here is a problem for me. Yeah, this is an important low regardless. It's an important low right now. I think that would be the low that the bears, that if lost, the bears would step in on. And in the event that we have an initiation, I still view that as an important low. Even with an initiation, if we came back and lost that low, that would make me nervous. I don't like that at all. For this reason, for all of the stop losses that may be moved up to, no, it's just too much liquidity down here. Nope. Rather, I would not be interested in anything between these two lines. I would be pretty hands off here. Under here, I'd be a little bit more interested, and above here, I'm a little bit more interested, but this is a no-touch zone for me. No touch. I wouldn't hit. I wanted to say something inappropriate, but yeah, that'd be a no-touch zone for me. So, yeah. So currently for me, as it stands right now, I'd almost be more interested in a short. See if we can fill up some of this gap right here in the event that we could lose this low. And outside of that, I need a strong initiation here for me to draw a blue box around this. And then you could look for continuation out of there. But that's where I'd be at with XCM. I don't think I have. I don't think I have much more on that. I think we took that from the weekly down. Sol and Ton. Yeah, we got a little bit of I got a little bit of time left, so we'll do Sol and Ton. Sol, I think, manipulated yesterday. What did it do? What did it do? Yeah, so we were kind of looking at this yesterday, with this idea of like coming up above these highs right here, but we ended up blowing out the lows and hitting the lower section of demand there before returning our 15-minute to bullish. So I think the play on this was waiting for the 15. It's easier said than, I mean, it's easy to say that in hindsight, right? But I guess all I'm saying is this was obviously not the best idea yesterday. That SL should have been a little bit more better. But that's all behind us now. All that news is behind us. Obviously, we're coming up to the swing high at this point, like, happening as we speak. Never got this. I think this is too aggressive of an approach to the swing high for a short. I don't see a short working here. I don't see a short working here. You could watch for it, but I just don't think it's going to happen. Stop! Let's get all that stuff out of the way. What does volume look like in this area? Yeah, that's kind of how I envisioned that looking. Which basically means, hold on, let me put that back on. This, when I look at the, and I'm just taking volume from this high to kind of where we're at right now, because I'm not, it's just the only volume that I'm interested. That's all. It's just all that's all. And I'm seeing, value area high, low, and POC and stuff, right? Which to me just reinforces what my gut was already telling me, and that is that this is the area of the chart that I would ideally like to see mitigated in the event that we do make an initiation here. I would like to see mitigation back into there for a long. So whatever, we'll slap that idea on the chart. And then we'll get rid of our big, ugly, squiggly line. Let's pop up to like the 4. Let's look left and see if there's anything in here that makes sense to resist on. Probably not. Probably not. Where are you? No, I don't. It's not. I don't love it, and it's just it's a simple reason why I'm going to mark it out anyway. But I don't love it. See, this is just intra bar, like yeah. I don't. I'm not. I'm not in love with it, but I will tell you one thing: it is the only thing I see to the left that alarms me. It's the only thing I see that alarms me. Ooh. No, because we're already up above that. Yeah, that's the only thing I see to the left that alarms me, and I'm not that worried about it. But I'm going to mark it nonetheless. Let's get back to the 4. Reasonable. Reasonable. Yeah, for right now, this is all I have. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bullish 4-hour candles just stacked on each other's faces. I do not anticipate failure at this high. I anticipate initiation here. Can we get up in here for a little bit of a dip back down into these areas? I would hope so. I would hope so. Does that dip back down take us this low? That's a big fucking question mark, if you ask me. But I think the best I can hope for on Sol myself is nothing that's likely going to show its hand today. But I'd like to see some manner of a high form in here, and I'd be watching probably like 10-minute market structure, and if I see it initiate out of this range and then kind of inching back in here, I am watching like a hawk on this market structure to see if something flips bullish. That's just generally where I would be at with that. But I have absolutely no interest in a long trade here. None. I couldn't be less interested in it. Yeah, I just could not be less interested in it. No, I want nothing to do with a long in this area. And so that's, yeah. I mean, again, this would be my ideal sort of initiation, mitigation, continuation kind of play. But I mean, is it going to be that pretty, or is it going to be something where you just really have to pay attention to get into the next one? Likely something more like that, where you just really have to have some alerts set and be patient and be waiting. And this could be like a Monday or Tuesday next week kind of trade. That's where I'm at with this. There's no short or long to be had on Sol right here. For me, there's not a single short or long to be had on Sol. And we need to do Ton. Hey, Alex. You take care, bud. You take care. Good to see you. You go teach some fools or something. Ton's the last one I have time for, and then I have to hit the road. What in the carnation is all over this thing? Carnation, whatever. I don't think I like anything in this area. Let's clean this stuff up a little bit so we can kind of look at, well, this can stay, that can stay, this can stay, those still exist. This gap got filled. Let's delete that. Let's delete that. Let's delete that. Let's delete that. I don't think we need that either. I think this is more of a, you had to enter on the break. I don't think this is something I would be interested at this point if we were to re-enter an area like that. No, I mean, I'd be maybe more interested up here. Maybe. But not right there. An alert, not at all what I was expecting to happen. An alert. Yeah, see, Doge ended up going down into the juicier areas too. Alert, add to Tia, huh? Yeah, add to Tia here. Oh, I mean that kind of makes sense actually. Anyways, we were talking about Ton. We was talking about Ton. Fuck out of town. Are you serious? This little 4-hour order block right here worked. Fuck out of here. And that brought us back down into this nice section of demand here. And then obviously we're returning. No, it's not. Yep, nope. I lied. You're returning your 4-hour structure to bullish here. Out of this demand. After forming about, after, forming a range and SFP in the low of it. This right here. And then you return your 4-hour to bullish. Little speck of supply here that we're interacting with. It's probably why we're starting to get some pause. So can we, now that we have initiated, can we mitigate for continuance? Quite possibly. It's what I would prefer to see. So currently, anything in this range that were to get mitigated would be of interest to me. And I think I like this decisional point on it the best. So I'm going to put some more emphasis on that. And we're going to take this box and we're going to move this over to here. Yep, there we go. Yeah, so, you know, as it stands right now, I would say I would want to see loss of that low. Da, da, da. And a little retracement back into here to come down to here for up. That's what I would prefer to see right now. Yeah, just kind of see these wicks sort of fail. Come back, smoke this low here. None of that I would trade. I wouldn't trade any of that. I'm just saying from an order flow perspective, come back, fail these lows, crawl down to this low, and then if you could break that, you may have a scalp short on your hands, but I would be looking more for a long out of here. That's how it currently reads to me. Okay, so we set back here. I'm just taking a look at the bigger bottom on this. We set a low, we set a high, we sweep that low, we break that high, we mitigate, we continue. Yeah, generally speaking, yeah, and then where did that go into? Put a break here. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, this is the ideal trade on it. Let's say that's the ideal trade on it. And yeah, there's not a short I'm interested in right now. You talked to me about shorts up at 3.6 or whatever, but until then, there's not a short I'm interested in. Nope. Yeah, I could probably do that really quick. K A I T O. Oh, and they have it on Bybit too. Sweet. All right, let's hop out to the weekly. So pretty new asset here. I've been to this chart before. That's fucking wild. I don't trust this low. I feel like I'm missing data. Here, but it's all I have to work with. So we're gonna stick with that for a moment. Oh God, what was I thinking? Longing up in premium there. What a terrible idea that was. All right. Okay, so this is one where your structure is getting pretty bullish. If there was a zone of price that I think would be worrisome, it's this one here. But I think you're over halfway through it so far. So I don't. In other words, I don't think that this sets a lower low from here. Nope. I don't even know if it's going to really retrigger a significant retracement to get us back down into this prior range. I would anticipate that quite. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not so convinced that that is what's in the cards for this. I would more anticipate that a range would develop here. I would more anticipate that a range would develop here and hold. Yeah, I would say that these highs are going to get taken someday. Let me get rid of that thing. I actually don't want that anymore. I don't want to fade this. I don't want to fade that. Even with those semi-equal highs, it's not a true top. I don't want to fade that. Looking at this as supply, and then Let's jump to maybe the 30. No, how about the 45? No help. Back to the 15 we go. Um, it's this last, it's hard to see, but it's this last uh, buy to sell that breaks structure left to right that puts in an inefficiency that takes you below this low. It's that area I'm looking at right there. For where this got put in, which sent us marching back to this low. Okay, and so, the more I look at this up here, the more I'm beginning to think that you may very well get back down into an area like that. Yeah, I don't like this. Man, I think it's risky to try and short it though. It is not the best area of demand I've ever seen in my life, but it is an area of demand nonetheless. And so I am going to mark it. But yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not so confident. I think structurally here, a short kind of really starts to make sense for me if we break this. And don't retrace any higher than this right here. It starts to make me wanna short here. I just currently don't love the idea of shorting. Yeah, no, I can't long up in this area unless there's one long I can take here. There's one long I can take here, and it's an SFP of 13 or 1.3144. It's the only long I can take in this area, like really locally in this area. It's the only long I can take is this, and I don't know if it's gonna work. I just don't know if it's gonna work. And if it does, I don't think you're gonna have any structure to go. Yeah, I think this one's gonna be a tough one to trade, man. I think this is gonna be a tough one to trade. I'd love to see it peel some of this liquidity off here, anything down into here, and then tend to. This is what I want. This is the best I can tell you. I want to see price continue down and to the right. And I want to see a change of 10 to 15 minute market structure anywhere on this leg. If that leg goes as low as here, cool. If it only goes as low as here, cool. But I want to see a 10 to 15 minute transition back to bullish, and then I think you're just way better off following the trend up. But that's all I can do for you guys. I do need to leave, and appreciate you guys joining me. I gotta go. Let's go. I literally don't even remember what I said about Bitcoin this morning. So I'm just gonna take one more peek at that, and then I'm out of here. Where's my Bybit chart? Where did my Bybit chart go? Oh, maybe we weren't using Bybit today. Oh, this one. Yeah. Yeah, nothing around here. I'm interested in. I think this thing is in the short term. I think it's heading this direction. But doesn't matter because there's just nothing up there I'm interested in touching. All right, you guys have a good one, man. I'm out of here.